I know who has been to South Africa, covered the first free elections there. I know you from covering the Million Man March with that beautiful aerial view photograph, Haiti, and the earthquake there last year. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Johnny.
Tell us something, man. What's been the most exciting story you've ever covered?
Well, Mandela's inauguration was serious because they had 147 tribes dancing, and it's kind of funny. You see people in tribes, and they look just like someone you know in America. I thought sure I saw Kwahiza. I knew it wasn't him, but the brother looks just like him. Anyway, there was just so many tribes doing things. There were large tribes, small tribes, and you watch how the tribes march around the rugby stadium. And if you are a tribe of 300 people, then you give way to a tribe that might have 800 people, and then you see how they orderly lay down and let the big tribe march over them. And there's just so many beautiful things that you see from travel.
You might find this odd, but I'm going to pose this question to you. Do we as African Americans have any idea of what Africans go through on the continent or what they have been through as it relates to independence, neocolonialism, so on and so forth?
Not really. You have to go into these places. You got to go and get your history all over again with your feet.
What do you mean?
Well, you find so many things that contradict what we learn in school. For instance, when you go to Sudan and you go to the Nubian pyramids, you find out that years and years ago, Nubia was before Egypt was named. And then you see the pyramids that are older than Jesus Christ, and they're older than the ones in Cairo, Egypt. But the history book doesn't say that.
So even on the back, even though on the back of the dollar is the pyramid, you are reminding us that there were pyramids built before the Great
Before
Pyramids
they
in Nubia.
in Nubia, yes, which is in Sudan.
And didn't Henry Gates, I think, document in Search of Swahili some of the Nubian kingdoms that were before Egypt, and right now I think there's a issue with China trying to develop, and they will try to destroy some of these ruins in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
You recall that?
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay.
History could be rewritten properly if someone wanted to really do it, because you learn so many things from travel.
Here in this country, one story that I often remember is the story you tell of B. Gaddy. You would say that she could go up in the hole and call people, Robert, Michael, Kenny, come on out. Tell them that story, because I've never forgotten it. And when I did have the opportunity to be in her presence, that's all I could think of.
Yeah. Well,
That and the fact that the Baltimore City Council acted like they didn't like her when she was alive.
yeah, but she put him in that place. B was, sometimes I think B Getty was an angel, and she was just here.
On loan.
Yeah, and she was just here temporarily, and she was really uh, with us, but she was kind of different. B Getty used to attack hunger, and I would always tell her staff, uh, call me when the weather gets real bad, and I would always listen out so that if it was going to be 10 degrees or 4 degrees, then that was the time to run and be with Big Eddie, because you knew she was going to be doing some powerful things. So you do your recruitment when the weather is real bad. All right, so when we had one snowstorm and they said that it was going to be below zero, about 2 below 0, and I knew that was the time to go to Big Eddie's. So as we were moving around, she would say, all right, let's get the hot chocolates and the blankets, put them in the van. And at that particular time, I had this big raggedy van that
The
I used to
Scooby
ride.
van, I remember it.
So we had to cocoa and the hot chocolate and the blankets in the van. So she said, now let's go on bum hunt. And I said, bum hunt? And she said, yeah, you'll see. So we were riding around. When we got over by the stadium, now it was the convention center. They have those real deep stairways going down so that the crowd can empty real fast. So she said, stop the van. And I stopped. Then she got out and she started calling people, Robert, Clarence, Ed, come out. And I'm saying, what in the world is wrong with this lady? And all of a sudden, I jumped back because the cardboard started moving in the stairwells. And people actually came out. And it was bombs. So she says, there you go. So then they said, Miss B, what you got? And then she told us to get the hot chocolate and the blankets and all. So we fed them. And she said, bye now. And then there was this one hungry guy that I wanted to take a picture of. He was on Baltimore Street. He was up there with all of his belongings. He had blankets and he had a grocery basket and everything. So I said, you know, I really wanted to get a picture of that guy one day, but I don't think he will let me do it. Anyway, she says, who are you talking about? And I said, there's a guy right down the street. So she said, oh, on Baltimore Street? She said, that's Robert. I said, it is? So she said, yeah, let's go by and say hello to him. So she went over there, and I didn't know the guy could talk. And he greeted her, and he started talking. See, because a whole lot of homeless people, they act like they can't talk, and they are kind of out of it. Because if you are a normal person, then they don't really want to respond to you. But a lot of those people are like that. They responded to be Getty. And I didn't know that. So I learned a lot of things.
You think maybe they were tired of the BS of life, of society?
Oh, yes. They were turned off, yeah. And then they would shut their personalities and everything down. So they were in another mode. But she could get into the mode with them because they could identify with her.
Give us one of the places that maybe affected you the most, that just maybe was a reality check, a gut check, how blessed that you were because of the situation that you were put in.
Well, I would say Haiti was terrific, and as far as that goes, because there were just so many things that were torn down. You could shoot pictures from the north, south, east, and west, and everything was just torn completely up.
Is this regarding the earthquake
Yes,
from last year?
the earthquake damage. Oh,
Okay.
yes. Right, and then people were all around, walking around with all of these big heads of, well, they had big baskets on their head, and they had fruit, and they had vegetables, everything that was destroyed in the drugstore, they had cleaned it up and they had it on their heads. And then they had medicine on their heads, they had everything that you can find in the drugstore. And then when you go back, to South Africa, you have the same thing. And then when I was in South Africa, well, I've been there about 7 times, but every time I go there, then I start thinking about how white I have become. And then, you know, I'm saying to myself, I didn't know I was this white.
Elaborate a little bit on
Well,
what you mean by that.
The way we dress,
Mm-hmm.
the way we smell, the way we look, the way we groom ourselves. We are a carbon copy of the white man. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a lot of my white brothers, but we have become one of them.
Some of them have become some of us.
Yes, right. But you don't really see how you have changed.
I see how we've changed that culture. I got a quick one for you.